Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dishing with Stephanie's Dish, the podcast where we talk to people in the food space, cookbook writers, people that are obsessed with food. And I'm really delighted today to speak with Tim Niver. He is the host of the Niver Niverland podcast and also a restaurateur in St. Paul, our fine capital city. He owns Mucci's. Also is a friend. And I was just noticing in my calendar, we recorded about a year ago today.
Yeah,
It
well,
was
I know we recorded before. I don't remember the date, but I'm glad to be back on. It's a good time to talk about things.
Yeah, and I'm going to release this podcast on Friday, so it'll be timely. I moving it up in my schedule because we have been under extreme stress as restaurateurs and people in the hospitality industry basically for the last 2 months, but really increasingly in the last 2 weeks as ICE agents, 3,000 of them have started roaming the streets of both Minneapolis and St. Paul and our
Hmm.
surrounding suburbs and towns, asking people for papers, uh, going into restaurants, stopping cars on the road, doing traffic enforcement type stops, going to people's homes, taking children as little as 2 and 5 years old. And unfortunately, these actions have resulted in the shooting of Renee Good. Also, over the weekend on Saturday, the shooting of Alex Preddy. And it is so interesting. I was on the air live with my radio partner, Stephanie March, on Saturday morning when the second shooting happened, which technically is the third shooting because there was another one where someone was shot in the leg in their house defending themselves with a shovel, and a broom. What I just am so wanting people to hear from Minneapolis and St. Paul and Minnesota in general is that the actions that are happening here, A, are not legal, B, are not law enforcement, and C, are creating so much harm to a community that has been trying to recover for the last 5 years since the COVID pandemic. And I'm so, it's always restaurants. We're the canary in the coal mine, right?
I'm listening, and it's hard to refute anything you said. Number one, restaurants are involved in particular in moments of social change. We're involved in helping support, care for um, the community at large as a product of them supporting and caring for us at large. Um, it's a debt that we want to owe to the community, but there's a lot of pressure to act, and it's not always an easy decision because we're business people in this state, business feels insignificant altogether. Um, and then to continue to participate appropriately in whatever way you can is, I think, ultimately where we all need to be. Whatever we can do, whatever you feel like you want to do, that should be enough for people. But there's a lot of expectation.
It's fascinating too, because when I say that restaurants are the canary in the coal mine, I feel like when these situations happen or civil unrest happens or starts to unfold, we see it in the restaurant community because it is communal spaces. But then we also lean on the restaurateurs and people to provide food and community. And there's so much expectation, not only for you to, hey, run your business and serve me my pizza in a timely fashion, but can you also donate and feed my whole community and show up? And it's so
Yes,
amazing because you guys
yes,
do.
yes.
You do. You continue
We
to.
do it despite being able to.
because you are hospitalitarians in your heart, like
Yeah.
that is why you stay in this business. It is a level of service and
Yeah,
leadership.
yeah. Yeah, I just think it's a matter of care, which is what we innately provide. And when there's moments where care is especially needed, you've seen this community react in full, the restaurant community and the community at large. Like we've all reacted in full. We've been there for each other. It's inspiring.
It is
Um,
inspiring and it's
you have
ongoing.
to, yeah, it's ongoing. It's an economic occupation as well. It completely affects and dampens any kind of feelings of joy. The way you might want to express yourself on a birthday feels different. The way you want to express yourself on an anniversary might feel different. Things that we celebrate, that we as restaurateurs try to preserve. Um, Now we're changing our language to when you walk in, it's not how you doing. It's it's really nice to have you here. Uh, Even the things we say prompting, it's not it's discompassionate perhaps to ask somebody how they're doing right now. So we're talking to each other in a whole new language based on how things feel. It's pervasive on all levels. But we have to persist, right? We have to, as a business, even though it feels insignificant in the moment, you have to persist. You have to do the things through austerity or what have you to understand clearly what you're able to support and give. And then on the inside, you have to make the decision about folks who um, need every single hour of work that they get per week to stay afloat. Um, Many restaurants are the same way. Um, and so, this kind of doubles down on a time that is not normally busy. It's a huge multiplier effect.
It's like 20 below in January and has been for about a week in the Twin
Yes.
Cities with another potential week ahead.
Right. And, it does keep people in the suburbs. That interaction between the inner parts of the city, it becomes a more of a bubble. So, and understanding security, it's true. Like, I get it. These are all real things. Overall, it's a big pill to swallow.
And the weight is getting really heavy. The reason I think you're uniquely qualified to speak to me today is I want people to know that in 2025, you were the James Beard semifinalist for Outstanding Hospitality. And you are known in our community for providing great food, great service, but your whole being and your whole approach to care and hospitality within the confines of our restaurant's four walls is what you've really done your entire career. And you've mentioned that
Thank you.
it looks like it has to change, it has to be modernized in light of the times and the moments that we find ourselves in.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. We began to lead more with compassion after George Floyd and COVID, trying to understand, there's also a lot of um, strengthened worker rights. A lot of things have been changing over the years and in good fashion, but also, I guess the thing that we try to do is just stay with it. We've been through some of these similar feelings before. They're triggering.
Thank you
And
for saying
honest,
that because I do think that is a uniquely Minnesota thing in
yeah.
that 5 years ago when the George Floyd murder happened and well the lockdowns were first and then the George Floyd murder, like when I hear a helicopter, I feel very anxious. I
Oh,
feel
absolutely.
like a trauma of what is happening. I'm heightened, I'm scared, I'm looking around, I'm wondering if there's some breaking news. It's hard to describe that to people who haven't lived under that complete fear of what's next.
Yeah. And in many parts of the world, they live like that every day.
And also
Um,
true. Yeah. And
um,
oh gosh.
but we certainly do gain a perspective that nobody else could have. It also provided ample levels of already set types of organizations in times of need. People had done this before.
Yeah, and it
Um,
mobilized quick how fast people.
well, we're all trying to protect somebody here. We're all trying to protect somebody. So I really feel like having had experience like that, you have a new generation of restaurateurs and thinkers like Rectangle Pizza. They lead with love, but they'll fight for it. Um, just uh, such heart and fearlessness. That's fearlessness.
Mhm.
I don't contain that. I don't contain that. Thank
Uh,
God they do. Thank God they do. You know,
yeah. And just
they're thrust into it too, like being where they are. Um,
to give
but
some context, Rectangle Pizza put out a mutual aid fund, and I think they raised at last count over $100,000 of, oh, over two
I believe it's over two.
through selling pizzas and collecting donations, and that money is going back into their communities. And we've seen a lot of that. These mutual
Yeah.
aid funds that people have just started on their own has been
And then
really,
they were visited the following day after they did that by ICE too, perhaps recognizing that they were part of some resistance by helping take care of people. And, it just, how is that imaginable?
what do you, uh, it's hard to describe the, it's hard to describe the impact that the diverse population and immigrant population has had on the restaurant business as a whole. I think some people believe that everyone who works in a restaurant that is a black or a brown person is somehow an illegal person. And it's ignorant, and I'm not sure people fully know, but there is this sort of idea too, like, well, these owners are employing these people without papers, and we're just getting the bad guys. You've been in this industry a long time. This industry is made up of a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, you hire somebody, you have to do the paperwork. That's the only way they can get paid. Um, and I am not an ID expert. I do not run this through some sort of machine that tells me exactly where the documents are. We've been very, very fortunate just for a matter of retention that we've done so little hiring at Mucci's in particular, but in general, that, it's just part of the first day packet. But you have to take care of it. It's immensely important to the infrastructure of a business to be organized in such a way. Um, and still mistakes can be made, but for me in particular, it's never a question. It's like you have to have this to work. It's so easy. Either you do or you don't. Um,
And when you pay someone and give them a paycheck, there is an employment tax that's attached to that paycheck.
yeah, oh yeah. Their own, and then we match.
Mhm.
Yeah, nobody gets around that. There's no way for them not to pay taxes unless somebody's doing something illegal. Um, but everybody's got to do the same paperwork. They get the same I-9, W-4, and W-2 at the end of the year. It's all stated. That doesn't make somebody legal. Either. But in terms of when you hire somebody, you go through and you do what you can to do everything right, and hopefully they stay for a long time, whoever they are.
Yeah.
But we are made up of the community at large. Any city is going to be made up of a cast of characters, and we certainly don't want them to be the same character over and over. The diversity speaks loudly to the depth of the culture that you exist in. Um, so we benefit.
It's also when we look at the diversity of the food culture that's offered in the Twin Cities. I mean, you're making Italian food. Uh,
Italian American, yeah.
yeah, someone else is making Somali food, Ethiopian food, Vietnamese food. The irony is we have all these diverse cultures all coming together over this common tradition of breaking bread, of communally spending time in community together at our tables.
Yes.
And it just saddens me that this is this schism that is going to happen. It happens in restaurants first, and then we're going to be the last ones to be able to pick up the pieces when all these creeps leave. And all of this is, the bad guys and the murderers and the rapists and whatever excuse you want to use for this complete brutality that's happening to our community. Then the restaurateurs will again pick it up. Food costs will probably increase, I would imagine. None of these things that are happening are inexpensive. We have a somewhat broken food system nationally. When you think about
It's a rough
somebody,
year of tariffs. It was a rough year understanding the more and price increases, insurance costs, healthcare costs, whatever you're involved with. Uh, I'm my little business. You would be so shocked to know what we pay for insurance a year.
yeah, I just wrote
You'd
my
be
thousand
shocked.
dollar check for the month.
Yeah,
I'm a freelance
it's a
person. I have
lot.
no
It's a
support.
lot of money.
Yeah, it is. And
And those things have been ongoing, and then this obviously again is, like I said, a multiplying factor.
so, how do you keep? I mean, we've painted a pretty gloomy picture. So, how do you keep waking up every day and coming into your restaurant and finding joy? Because I think a couple of months in and 2 weeks of really acute persecution here, people are feeling really beleaguered.
Oh, yeah, weighted. Um, I guess what I'd say, and I haven't necessarily found it totally in myself, but we talk about preserving joy, and pieces of it. You shouldn't think of joy being some all-encompassing kind of a thing that just washes over you completely. You really have to parse it out and be deliberate with how you preserve your joy right now. That may be in a restaurant. I think I'm just starting to get my feet kind of how I feel personally. Um, but the last few days kind of forced myself into tons of conversation. Um, Even though that doesn't always feel comfortable, I feel like staying at home. So I think that conversation, there's maybe you're commiserating or whatever, but there is a unity when you don't hole up, when you don't sacrifice joy because of it feels wrong in this time. I do believe, my message to anybody would be is, and I am intent on this, is just where you see joy, like stop and engage with it and or force it and make sure that you're trying anyway. Get out. Go where you want to go. It doesn't have to be Mucci's. It doesn't that's not it. But that's part of it too. Hey, we're giving a lot of money, other not just restaurants. People are giving a lot of money and resource to feeding people or staying safe or doing what they need to do right now. I mean, I understand dining out may not be your priority, but preserving a little bit of joy, if you could consider that, uh, I think there's a little tiny pot of gold, right?
Um, I thought I would start out this year talking about like food trends
Hmm.
because I
Yeah.
love to talk about food trends. It's like one of my
How
favorite
silly.
things to talk about. But that feels a little like we're not doing that today. Um, how are your colleagues feeling? Like you have a unique ability because you have people on your podcast. You are behind the scenes in the hospitality business. How are your colleagues doing?
Beleaguered. beleaguered. Same boat. Uh, the tides are out. Um, it's not, and saying that is unattractive. I get it. Like saying that things are hard is kind of an unattractive thing or unhospitable thing, but we're all feeling it. It's kind of hard anyway. I'm empathic, so like I'm just like sponging energy, and it's really hard to like continue to hear it.
Yeah. I also
Um,
I also think um something that has come to me over the years of working in this business is we think about artists and musicians as these very creative beings, right? And their art is their song or their poem or their story. And what I have learned in this business is that my fellow hospitality people are also artists. It is the food that they are
Mhm.
putting on the plate. It is the care with which they are putting there. It is the farmer who's growing his heirloom seed to get that tomato to bring to you to make that perfect
Yeah,
caprese salad. And artists as a class tend to be fairly sensitive people. They have a lot of empathy, a lot of emotional capacity, and it is just crushing sometimes to see what's
similar.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, going back just a bit to the last piece about joy, a story, I got reminded of something after I said my bit. Last week, earlier last week, like Tuesday, before anything happened with Alex Preddy, I was at the door. A father and son walked in the door. And I'm at the host stand, and I see that they have a birthday designation. And I'm like, hey, welcome in. I see one of you is having a birthday today. And they both kind of stopped in their tracks. And I said, hey, I didn't, I don't mean to get, too personal, whatever. I just see it listed here. And they're like, well, um, uh, my wife, his mother, she died 30 days ago, and today's her birthday. Oh, that's why we have to be here.
Yeah.
That's what we have to preserve, and that's what people should still celebrate. Sorry, thanks.
No, it it's interesting because I'm one of those weirdos that gets together with friends in January and does tarot card readings.
Oh, I love it.
And you can pick like career, adventure, and I picked joy as my like category. And I've been feeling kind of joyless. And you
Mm.
really hit something on the head when you talked about joy, which is something I'm working on, but it's recent, so I'm not doing well at it yet. But this
It's
idea
hard. It's
that,
hard.
I really I was working on a project that wrapped up at the end of the year, and I pushed myself so hard. By the time I got done, I just was an empty, depleted cup. I had
Mm,
nothing
mm,
left. And I had this trip planned, and I was going to go on this trip, and I was going to rest and read, and I was going to get my joy back and re-energize. And on that trip, these things were happening at home,
mm.
and I haven't been sleeping, and it's been just constant cortisol rushing.
Yeah,
And I didn't get that joy in that way that I felt. And what my tarot cards said was exactly what you said, which is it's not a huge wave. It's the moments within the wave, and you have to intentionally seek them out, look for them, create opportunities for them to happen.
yeah,
And for me, as a person who loves restaurants, it does happen a lot in restaurants.
yeah. Yeah, it's not a manufactured feeling, either when you come in here and there's a genuine desire to uphold whatever you're there to be doing in whatever form, whether it's a funeral or, an anniversary or a birth, we want to be able, when you walk in the door, we want to be able to make sure we're taking care of wherever you are, be compassionate to that moment. And that's why memories are made in restaurants. It's where people get together. You hear other voices and you don't have to listen to them, Um, it's a din. It kind of makes you feel comfortable, like there's an outside world that's not affecting you. And there's a lot of beauty in finding a place that gives you that sort of peace for a little while and visiting it.
Oh, and I think about Town Talk Diner, which was one of your original spots. And so many people still talk about that place and Nick Kosovich and you and just this idea of what that place meant to so many people. And you've had a number of places like that because then you had St. Dinette and I'm trying to think of I'm trying a total blank of your
Strip
place.
club up on the
Thank you,
hill.
strip club.
Yeah. It's
You've
all
had,
good. It's a lot of
yeah,
years. It's a
and
lot
you've
of
had
years.
like so many of these places that have meant so much to people. As we move forward, because
Yeah.
we're really in it right now, we're sort
Yeah.
of stuck. What would you like to see moving forward, and how can people listening to this podcast be supportive of restaurants in general, if you're their spokesperson?
Yeah. If I was a spokesperson and I kind of am sometimes, I don't try not to speak for the whole industry at large, but I would just say, you know, um, mind mind what you are spending on and what you aren't spending on, and a business is doing the same. And I'm just looking for moments of unity between everybody that we can to kind of find some sort of momentum back into pushing towards joy. But for business folks right now, we understand, we have a little bit of um, more time to consider that this might be happening. So to those business folks, I'd say, consider your austerity now. What keeps you there for your community? What keeps you there for your employees? What keeps you there for the right reasons? Um, but also, folks, I know that they're in general acting so generously and putting emotion on things, but I would say, to preserve that joy, make a reservation somewhere and go out and eat. Do whatever you can. It doesn't have to be a full-blown meal. It could be a short visit. It could be go in and have a drink and hug the person you really like there. Um, but I think you have to uh, kind of get everybody working in the space that yes, there may be some time here for operators, but also for folks that are out there feeling a lot of different ways, that there is a lot to be said for visiting and being out in your community. And it's not a feel-full place all the time. And, um, p restaurants and businesses need you um, to continue to visit. It's really that important. And that's all there is. It's a business that's in service of others. And without them, it's hard to continue.
And it feels so much better to, after ruminating in my house for days. Then today I went to two coffee shops and I sat
Yes.
down with a friend who's turns out starting a business. She's an immigrant herself and scared and trying to figure out what the way forward is. Just spending time hearing her concerns,
Yes.
introducing her to some new people that maybe she hadn't thought about that might be resources.
Yes.
I just feel,
Expanding your community
yeah.
and yeah, expanding your community and
And
bringing people in.
and we have so many young people. Like, I mean, we've been around the block. We're Sage and
Oh no, the youngs are really strong here. You can see it in their dedication to their craft. You can see it in the dedication to their employees. You can see it in their dedication in whatever way they were able to show solidarity during a day of strike. It's really insanely cool group of people we're hoping for, rooting for,
for sure.
desirous of their success. I mean,
Yes,
that's what we want.
we do because we had the Phil Roberts and we had our everyone's mentor, Tim McKee. But we have this new group of really committed and passionate folks, and nice to be able to share wisdom with them, but also to create and be absorbed in their energy of how they want to move this industry forward. It's
Yeah.
pretty neat.
During these times. Well, you said it, and I feel that this industry has been nothing but supportive, if not led the way in a lot of ways. I'm proud to be a part of it. I would like to do just what I do, um, but I understand that times are different, and we all need to stand up, and in the way that we need to stand up, but we
Mhm.
do need to stand up and show
And it's different for
ourselves.
everyone.
So, yeah,
If all you can muster is to go to a new business and have a cup of coffee, then do that.
yeah,
If you have the time or the capacity to be a protester, do that. Like,
yes.
there's not everyone showing up in different ways. I just want people to hear that you show up. And even if you didn't vote for who I voted for, or you voted for someone and that wasn't what you thought you got, it's past that. We're
It's
just talking
humanity,
about
man.
people
This is humanity. This
and
is
being,
treating each other appropriately,
yeah, that's it.
like basic stuff, and then respecting our rights.
Yeah. And agreed. Well, I think, Tim, I'm gonna wrap it up. I loved spending time with you today. I
Yeah,
miss you.
same.
I'm
Thanks.
farther away from the restaurant now, so I don't get in as often. But
We're here anyway. We're here. And
yeah, I
you
do.
feel us. You feel us.
I do, and I really appreciate the leadership, also the respect that you have garnished in this community and the leadership that you provide for other restaurateurs, and
I'll
just
keep
the
trying
ability.
to earn it. I'll keep trying to earn it.
Yeah, you do every day. And just the ability to be able to hear your story and to help people understand what it feels like on the ground as
Yeah.
a small business person who's just trying to keep their people employed, their family fed, and
Yeah.
our
Make her
state
go.
moving. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, my pleasure always.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.